What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Chris coming at you for another Deerfish Gaming video. And today I am here to talk about some Maulin time, okay? Now, I took my Maul deck to my local Showdown and I had a blast. Now, before I get into that, real quick, I do apologize for the little bit lack of videos the past couple weeks. I was traveling for that PQ and I caught the flu while I was out traveling. So your boy was just down and out. So I apologize for that. But we're keeping that going. We're trucking along, and I got them all ready for my showdown. And here we are. I went undefeated going into the finals. That's right. Your boy made it to the finals. Okay, I'm not gonna give away that because we're gonna have that gameplay here in a minute. I just want to give a quick talk about my deck and how I felt about my deck going into the finals. And then we're gonna have some gameplay. We're gonna have the whole finals match, and then we're going to talk about how I feel very briefly after the finals match. And that's the video for today. So let's get into the deck. Okay, now I am also going to post my top 4 win in a couple of days or whatever. I'm gonna let this video breathe for like a day or so. I'm gonna post my top 4 win analysis. So yeah, my deck actually gave me a little bit of struggles in that matchup. So that's gonna be fun to watch because although I did win, I had to kind of fight against my own deck, and my opponent was playing very well. As expected, right? It's in top 4, so it was just that was a scary one. That was a scary one. Woulda almost lost that one. So force throw. That's what I'm loving, the force throw. Okay, I was kind of iffy because most force throw decks, they you can start force throwing a little bit earlier than what this can. But let me tell you what, it worked out just fine in my favor. Okay, didn't really have too many aggro decks to put that much pressure on us all day long. I played Anakin Blue for round 1. I played man, what did I play? Round 2, I played my finals opponent, Leia Red, okay, and I beat him 2-0, and that was very, very interesting because I'm probably going to be feeling pretty confident going into the finals. So we'll see how that goes, after beating my finals opponent 2-0 earlier in the day. And then I played Ray Blue. Ooh, Mono Ray Blue. So this was a very, very interesting matchup. I won 2-0, but it is the exact same Ray Blue that I have played against on this channel with a previous version of my Maul. Go check that video out. I lost, which caused me to make a lot of changes to my Maul deck to bring me to where we are today. So shout out to that Ray Blue deck because it really forced me to have to think on what I wanted to do to add curveballs into my deck that make it just not just a plain Jane ramp deck. As before, all I was doing was just ramping, and then that was it. I didn't have any fallen lightsaber or disabling fang fighter. We'll get into that in a minute. Okay, and then so my final Swiss round opponent was Quinlan Green. Okay, so that was a very, very interesting matchup. I have not played against a lot of Quinlan Green, but it was a fun matchup. I was able to take that 2-0, and guess what? My opponent ended up meeting me again in top 4. So that very same matchup we will see later when I post that video. So look out for that. My Maul Green versus that Quinlan Green coming out in a couple of days. Now, the deck. The force throw, so good, even though it was coming out at 5, 6, or the earliest really could come out at 6, because if I play Maul on 5, then I'm not going to have the resources to play force throw effectively until 6. It still worked out pretty fine, okay, because I didn't play against a lot of aggro decks. The Coruscant Guard, I really like the Coruscant Guard. It's a hill I'm going to die on still very, very often, mid to late game. You draw the Coruscant Guard, and that little 3 coordinate ambush comes in and very helpful. He cannot be pulled with Vader. But I was never really trying to pull anything other than like the Phase 3 Dark Trooper or Kylo's TIE Silencer anyway. So or the Super Laser Tech. So I just kind of was like, you know what, whatever. I like to coordinate ambush. It's working out good for me. And at the very least, he's a 2-drop. That's a 3-2 on the ground. And then I have a 3-2 in space. So I can kind of go even on most of the time on a turn 1 if need be. The problem is you just have to get it right. So, but yeah, so I really, really like the Coruscant Guard. Force Choke, really, really coming in clutch, whether it's Force Choke in my own Super Laser Tech, so I can draw a card, get the extra resource, ramp to get to Maul, or just flat out just stopping my opponent from just getting any tempo. That way I can just stabilize the board, because once we hit resource 5, 6, 7, that's when we really start to shine. I really, really liked Force Choke, really worked really great. Kylo's TIE Silencer, very good. I even had someone vigilance me, and it got milled from the top of my deck, and I was able to use Kylo's TIE Silencer's ability to play it off of that milled discard, because his ability allows you to play him from the discard pile if he was discarded from your hand or deck. So very, very cool. I really, really like this card. It's a 3-2 in space in a deck that is lacking a lot of space, and that is why I bid a $20 a piece bullet to put this in my deck, because that is how weak space was even before I added the Kylo's TIE Silencer in. Now, the 3 Super Laser Tech and the 3 Resupply are a must. Gotta have those double ramp versions, and you better believe that when this new set comes out, that we're gonna be adding that 5-drop spaceship that is also a resupply in this deck. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. I really, really am still going to test out this deck. I think it's a lot of fun. So, but I'm gonna test out a lot of different decks. I'm having a lot of fun looking at all these leaked leaders and whatnot, but that's another video. The Phase 3 Dark Trooper, pull that with Vader, very, very good. I really, really like the Phase 3 Dark Trooper. The Disabling Fang Fighter is the a little techie right there, very good. Papa General's Blade, Papa Jedi's Lightsaber, and Papa Shield, or an experience token, really came in clutch today. Somebody tried to, or your Perilous Position. One of my units, I can Disabling Fang Fighter that. So just a lot of different good uses for the Disabling Fang Fighter, and I just thought it was really good for a 3-drop in space that I didn't really have that very many other good options. Testing and testing and testing. I didn't really like the Subjugating Starfighter, the Black Sun Starfighter 3-2. I was just up until today, Daring Raid was everywhere. So I just don't know how I didn't even see any decks with Daring Raid today, but it is what it is. That's why I opted for a 3-2 ship that costs 3 in space. That would allow me to at least get something when I played it immediately, just in case the Daring Raid did come off. The Fallen Lightsaber is really good. Throwing it on the leader Maul, or even throwing it on really anything else, it's just a very, very little good wrench to throw into things that maybe your opponent doesn't always know how to deal with. That won me several games today. Then we got Pillage. Pillage is very, very good against blue. Okay, so against blue, you really need to attack their hand with the Force Throws and the Pillages. It really comes in handy later in the late game for the game ones. I mean, it just really allows you to outlast their removal, because they're holding on to those removal spells to get rid of your big boys. Okay, and then you got to have the Overwhelming Barrage. And then the Darth Maul 5-drop is too good. We got Palp's Return. Okay, that is what I took out. The 1-drop Death Star Stormtrooper moved Palp's Return from the side to the main, and let me tell you, the creme de la creme. Okay, I was like flipping Maul on Resource 6, playing OB, force throwing something to like counteract their leader flip or whatever, and then the very next turn, Palp returning like whatever I forced through, whether it be Palpatine himself or Maul or Vader, right back to the field on turn 6, rather than just the creme de la creme. I really, really had a lot of fun. And then with Force Choke costing 1 less with having a Force unit out, then either having Force Throw or Force Choke in your hand at that point in the game is just devastating. It's just, once you really hit Resource 5, Resource 6, Resource 7 with this deck, you just really start to take over the board. As long as you don't have around like 23 to 24 damage on base, as long as you can stabilize before that point, you're golden. Um, Kylo Ren is just so good, and a Han Han-ish meta. You know what I mean? There's so much Han around going around. That 7-drop Han is a huge threat, doing that damage before the defender. So this guy comes out on 6, a turn, theoretically a turn before Han, if you are able to, like stop the Han flip combo, right? And then you can, play Kylo. He's a 6/7. He'll survive that Han 6/6 ambush. So, that was the idea there. He worked great. And also, he was just great to play if you didn't get an overwhelming barrage or whatever on the flip turn for your leader Maul. He was just another thing to play down. And that's also why the Fallen Lightsaber was good. Maybe you didn't have an overwhelming barrage. Maybe you didn't have Kylo Ren. But maybe you did have a Fallen Lightsaber and a Super Laser Tech. Or maybe you had a Fallen Lightsaber in the Phase 3 Dark Trooper. You know what I mean? You just got to throw a little variety in there, just because you never know what's going to happen. Maybe you get discarded, or you just have bad draws. And then the final change that I had was I put the third Maul back in and Ruthless Raider. Okay, Ruthless Raider is just another big body for Overwhelming Barrage, a 6-drop. That was kind of where we were kind of lacking with 6 drops earlier, and it worked out great. In Swiss, I played it a lot. It didn't really come into play at all in Top Cut, but yeah, there's just not a lot of space units. So you just take what you can get, and I do like the Ruthless Raider. It's a big boy. You get that extra 2 damage on play, and you can potentially ping off, finish something else off when you not necessarily as good as in Django or something, but like I said, it really did come into play. I was able to calculate some extra damage, like from an overwhelming barrage, like the turn before, or something like that. With that, it worked out. It worked out. Okay, now the sideboard, we had 2 Force Lightnings just in case we needed to get rid of, like, I don't know, like a Snoke's ability or anything crazy. I don't know. I would just anything. That's what Force Lightning is for. But then we got 2 Cell Block Guards, just for more, if just in case we need a little bit more Ground Sentinel. And looking back on it, maybe that should have been the Black Sun Starfighter, the 3/2 Space Sentinel. So think about that. The Reinforcement Walker, so good. Even if when we did go against like somewhat of a little aggro deck, the Reinforcement Walker sided in for games 2 and 3. It just really would help me stabilize and just not really have to worry at all. Then 2 Relentless in the side. You could still maybe do like 1 crate, 1 Relentless in the main, and 1 crate in the side. But honestly, I don't know that if you don't have a lot of blue, just keep them in the sideboard. And because with Palp's Return and the Force Throws and the Pillages, you're really set up for success a little better in game 1 against blue. Without you don't necessarily need to main deck 1 Relentless. And then the Devastator, of course, is for to just finish off those blues, just in case they do have a tricky trick for the Relentless. So this wraps up the deck list. I went over all the changes, and I think all the big plot keys. And I had a lot of fun playing it. I did. But without further ado, let's get into the finals. Okay, let's get into this gameplay. Rob won the die roll. He is going to be going first. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. My opponent here hit me with the good old 1-2 punch and threw me off my noggin this game. And you will clearly see it. And I couldn't play turn 1, so it was a travesty. After he played a green Squadron A-Wing, I claimed, and then now we are moving on to the next phase. So not a very good start, not what you want to see against an aggro deck. And as you saw from the list that I talked about, my list, I don't have a lot of space. So when I see my opponent immediately going into a space race, things just are not going to go my way. And yeah, you'll see it. My Super Laser Tech, comes out, and then he plays the wing leader onto the Green Squadron A-Wing. Really, really good play. Really, really good play against me, against my deck specifically right now. I'm very, very ground heavy. I have to claim. Um, my opponent attacks for 6. And that is just a very, very hurtful, you know, resource 3 turn 2 move right there. 6 damage to the base. Okay. Now I am thinking, holy moly, I need to get to Overwhelming Barrage as fast as possible. I'm probably going to get into like 20 damage before I could stop it. So we got the resupply coming out. My opponent uses Leia's ability. It's essentially a fleet lieutenant, but without the +2. And attacks for 8 total. And I make the mistake of trying to flip for Maul. Your super laser tech is still out there, dummy. So, can't do that. So I end up hitting his base for 2, just to get some damage out there. And, some secondhand embarrassment right now going on, you could see. And, yeah, it's embarrassing doing stuff like that. So, I mean, but really that misplay comes down to I really felt the pressure of that, that 8 damage hit right there. And there's no ground for me to feed off of. No ground units for me to feed off of. So this is just a worst case scenario for me at the moment. Okay. And, my opponent will be playing a fleet lieutenant, of course. Now, math is hard. I got it wrong right now. I subtracted 1. I needed to add 2 damage to that die. It'll come here. I need to add 2 more damage to that die. It'll come. Yeah. Man. He is hitting me so hard so fast. It's making my brain hurt, and I'm having to redouble check how that needs to be correct. We reset back to the way it was, to 14. Go up, bring that up to the +4, and then +3 for the 7. And then boom, now we're good at the solid 21 damage. So quick. So quick that came out. You know, flip them all. It's really the only thing I got, because I gotta do this OB. Now, I misplay on this OB too. I think I could have allocated the damage better. I think what I should have done was hit the 1 damage on the wing leader, finish off the experienced up A-Wing, and then do 1 damage to the fleet lieutenant, and just essentially left the Green Squadron A-Wing alone, because right now I'm about to get 2 more damage because I popped both the A-Wings instead of allocating the damage a little bit better. And had I popped the 1 damage on the fleet lieutenant and then the 1 damage on the wing leader, then I guess I would have 1 damage left over to put on the other wing leader. Had I done that, I would have stopped the 2 damage and the fleet lieutenant would be gone. But I just, you know, just in the moment, I'm feeling the pressure of this, this really fast Sabine-like deck, might I say. But, you know, no downfall of the Sabine ping, and it's a 30 health base, so just, you know, a little bit safer. I think my opponent felt a little bit safer, you know, to just really get that aggro going. I liked it. It's really caught me off guard, especially this time around. So I did that 2 damage to the fleet lieutenant. And, you know, after that 2 damage from the wing leader, I'm at 23 damage on the base, and that is just not where I want to be. Not where I want to be at all. Okay, and then I will hit the fleet lieutenant, And then it overwhelms 7. And you know, if I would have did the better overwhelming barrage spread, I could have hit 8 to the base directly, and my Maul could have suffered no damage. But instead, it's going to take that 3 damage right here. Your boy is just moving a bit slow. I got to get better at that. And here we go. Now he hits me for 2, putting me at 25, a solid 25. Put that fallen lightsaber on there. Trying to beef up that Maul for this overwhelming barrage that's going to come. Maybe something gets played. Ooh, but instead it's just a for a cause. 1, 2, 3, 4 points of damage to hit my base. Nothing for me to overwhelming barrage about that. You know, it is you can't run over the ground if there is no ground units to run over, right? I think you played a ground unit. And then we'll put that 4 right there on the base. And here we go with the overwhelming barrage. Here it comes. For that 1 damage on the wing leader. It is really my only play. I only have a couple of cards that cost 5, and the 5-drop Maul and then overwhelming barrage I think are it. So you know, it's I'm in a tough spot. And then a 4 cause for game 1. So let's see you know, how I do in this next game. But you know, that game 1 right there was devastating. Definitely devastating. All right, and let's see if I can't make some better things happen in this game too. Now, I double ramped that first game, so other than not being able to play turn 1, I mean, I feel like I had a good, as good as it's gonna get. I just don't have space. And what do you know? I had to claim once again. It's just a travesty, something you don't want to see in the finals. I did not really play any aggro decks all day long, so you know, I think there was a couple other times I didn't have to play, or I didn't have a turn 1 play, and it was just kind of okay. It was not the case this time. This time around, missing these turn 1 plays really cost me. So my opponent plays a red 3 to pump up that the green squadron A-wing, hit me for 4, and we are off to the races once again. Okay, very scary business. Not necessarily as bad in some ways as the wing leader, but scarier in other ways, as you know, the red 3 is more health. He's going to stick around for a little bit longer. So you know, again, you know, there is just no ground units for me to sentinelize and hit the base for 3. Now right here, I am really missing that Black Sun Starfighter, the 3/2 Sentinel, but you know, he just normally never lived. Normally Daring Raid took him out, and I just felt like that 3-drop was just not cutting it, so I made other decisions, and I ended up having to claim I did not have a 4-drop to play. So that is just very unfortunate as well. In a ramp deck, you know, I pretty much designed to hit the ramp and go. Just in the very you know, last match, just missing the ramp. Or I double ramped the first game, but just missing the ramp this game really really hurts. So, um, we're in a really tough spot here. You know, my opponent's going wide. He's got the red 3 out. I just have, you know, a little measly sentinel. We're going up to 6 on the base. And, yeah, I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you guys. There's really nothing I can do here. Um, I think I'm going to end up playing a Maul here in a second. But there's just, there's really not much other, there's really not any other good options I have. So he hits me for 4, and he takes out my Sentinel. Puts me at, so, you know, a solid 17 damage already. So I played my Darth Maul. It's not really going to do me that good. I just don't have any good space. And it is being exploited heavily right now. I have to claim. Four to base. And then plus 3, so 7 to base total. And now I'm at 24. And I'm tapped out. I had to claim, you know, my opponent now just gets to do whatever he wants. What a great spot, you know, for an aggro deck. Then he goes yet another space unit. Okay. So, you know, this is over. This is over. 6 health or 6 damage on my opponent's base, and you know, 24 damage on mine. I'm sitting over here looking. If I have to take out that Leia, because if I don't take out the Leia is going to attack, and then attacking with anything else will also win the game. And then I have to, if I overwhelming barrage my Maul, and it's only going to get me 7, so I could put the 6 damage on the Leia, but then I can't take out really anything else, and then I lose that way. So that's game, and congratulations to Rob. Woo! Oh man, what a devastating finals, right? That Leia deck caught me off guard. I faced Rob earlier in the day, and he kind of went all ground, and it was kind of a one-sided match the other way. I took it 2-0 earlier in the day, and so I did feel good going into the finals, but he had figured out from our earlier matchup that I did not have a lot of space, and he was going to test how good my deck was into space. Turns out it's not very good. I already knew that. I only have a few space units, you know, and even the space that I can add in the side deck, you know, was like Relentless and Devastator. You know, it's a hill I chose to die on, just not having that much space. There really wasn't that good of options. I really think the Disabling Fang Fighter was a good option. It won me several games today, popping a shield or getting rid of like a General's Blade or something like that. I think I just, I really put it to good use, and I wouldn't change the list at all. I like it. I put a lot of work into it, and you know, I went undefeated all the way up until I lost 2-0 in the finals, and those were good matches, and that was a great finals match, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you next time. Peace.